Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Talent Finders would like to welcome musician and entrepreneur and lead band member for Blessed Union of Souls, Eliot Sloan. So welcome, Eliot.
Thank you. Good to be here. Good to be here.
So Eliot, firstly, I'd like to congratulate you on all your achievements. Can you share with us how your career started?
It just started by getting in bands like right out of high school. I got into an R&B band a couple of years outside of high school, and it was funny because just finding guys that wanted the same thing as I did, and if not more, was, I mean, I don't know. When I look back now, I kind of realize, what a blessing that was, because that's something that a lot of people don't find. If you really like want to be in this business and, want to tour and want to write songs, and you really want it bad, and you think like, yeah, man, nobody wants this like I do. And you meet 5 other guys who want it, just as bad as you do, and who are as serious as you are.
Yes.
Looking back now, I realize, wow, what a rarity that is. But
for sure.
Yeah, it is. A lot of people bounce around different bands for a long, long time before they find somebody that they really gel with. And it didn't really happen for me like that. I mean, like I said, the first band I got in, those guys were really, really serious. They already had a manager. They had already done what was a 12-inch single back then, if you remember those.
Yes.
Yeah. And our manager at the time, his sister was married to Babyface, the recording artist, the world-renowned recording artist. And we had met him and his band, The Deal, and they were such an inspiration for us. And it just, it was a whole lot of little things that help make it seem like, wow, this is really possible.
Well, I think everything probably was quite aligned,
It was.
Yeah.
It really was. And getting in that first band was a total accident for me. And, 2 of the guys in the band came looking over at the band house I was recording at. They came looking, I thought they were looking for their bass player, because their bass player was playing in their band and in my band. And they were like, no, we're looking for you. We need a keyboard player that can
Amazing.
sing. Yeah, very cool.
So COVID-19 has obviously turned our worlds upside down and inside out, quite literally, and really impacted the entertainment industry. So how has this impacted you, and what have you had to do to adapt?
Well, I mean, obviously, it shut down a lot of our shows. We were supposed to have a show tonight, as a matter of fact, and that's been canceled / postponed. But you got to just find other things to do. As an artist, for me, there's always songs to write. There's always other things to do as far as music and trying to write and record. Obviously, been writing with Bill and Shay, and you just, what, it's like anything else. You have to find other ways. Like, this isn't the first time in history that a virus has shut down the world, or circumstances have derailed plans. You really just have to figure out ways to adapt. And again, I've been doing music still. I've been working on a couple of different other businesses that I'm working with. I mean, you can't just sit around and sit on your hands and wait for things to come back to normal, because whatever normal is may not ever happen again.
Yeah, no, exactly. So what would you say some of your biggest lessons and learnings have been within or that you've experienced within your career? I mean, I'm sure there's multiple, but, what stands out for you?
The thing is about this business, and it's, you can say this probably about, any business. There's a lot of compromise. If you're not Prince or Bob Dylan or Bruce Springsteen, there's a lot of compromise, and which is really a hard thing, because you're dealing with music, you're dealing with emotions and art, and you you write a song and you think, oh man, this song is really good. You play it for the guys around you, and you know your verse gets chopped in half and your chorus gets changed to a different. It's things like that. You know, there is a lot of compromise, and it really just depends on what you want. You know,
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys, musicians, singers, songwriters, who didn't want to compromise anything at all, and you've never heard of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you've
Yeah,
never
it's
heard.
definitely a game of adaptation, right?
It really is. It's just like I said, it's a game of adaptation. You've never heard of them, and you never will. And they're working at jobs that they don't want to work at. So yeah, I mean, you know, again, unless you're Prince and you can write and record and produce, you know, #1 hits all by yourself,
Yeah.
then there's going to be some compromise. And that's one of the things, you know, I mean, but the thing is, I wanted it so bad. And, you know, there are obviously lines that I'm just not going to cross.
Yeah.
You know
Cool.
what I mean? I'm not saying I just did anything and everything. There's lines that you're just like, okay, I don't want it that bad. You know what I mean?
You don't want to end up prostituting yourself or something.
Right, exactly. I'm not, you know, we're going to do that to get on the radio or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are certain things, you know, if you're working with people that you trust, if you're working around a good group of people, you know, then you trust that they're not telling you this just to shut you down. They're telling you this so that something is going to be better. You know, at the end of the day, it's going to be better. And it's going to be better, you know. Again, when you're working in a band, it's not just you.
No,
you know?
it's not.
You know, it's not just you. So the compromises that I had to make in music, I don't regret most of them. I'll put it that way.
Yes. I understand 100%. So as the music industry is highly competitive and very cutthroat industry, what do you believe is different within your genre, and how you've managed to remain relevant and sustain such a long career in a highly competitive industry?
Wait
Sorry,
a
I
minute.
know it's quite a lot.
Yeah. Well, look, everything is highly competitive. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And I don't know, you almost have to know that going in. I mean, if anybody is looking to get in any type of business that no one has ever done before, I don't know if that business exists. So everything is competitive. I didn't care. I just wanted it so bad. You know what I mean? I just wanted it so bad. It was, you know, and a lot of people told us that, oh man, you know how many bands out there trying to get record deals? You know how many songwriters out there trying to get their songwriter? I just didn't care.
No.
You know what I mean?
Do you feel also that what makes you different is the fact that you didn't place so much emphasis on like a record deal or getting signed to a major label or something? So do you think that also played a role in why you've managed to sustain yourself?
Well, I definitely wanted that. But at the same time, I just wanted to get out and play. I wanted to play. I wanted to write songs. I did want our songs to be on the radio.
Yeah.
I didn't know how it was going to happen. You know, I thought if I read on the back of all the albums that I grew up listening to and reading, you know, who's the manager and who's the producer, who's the record company, that, you know, I could just do a demo and send the record in and get a record deal that day. But, you know, I was really naive, which kind of worked in my favor, because I think you can know too much. If you know too much and you know how quote unquote hard things are, then you can talk yourself out of it, and then you can overthink things, you know. And I didn't overthink things. Me and the guys we didn't overthink things. We were naive enough to think that, hey, if we keep writing songs, we're going to mess around and write some really good ones and people are going to like them. And that's what happened. And yes, was it hard? I mean, we didn't get signed on our first demo, and there were record labels that turned us down. Yeah. But still, we just kept going because we wanted it so bad. I'm gonna tell you one thing: you cannot teach. You know, somebody can have all the passion and all the all the talent in the world, but if you don't have a passion for it, if you don't have a deep passion, just like, man, I really want this. I mean, you know, I'll take that over talent any day.
Of course, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
So social media has obviously impacted our lives in both a positive and negative way. So how have these platforms impacted you and your career? And what do you believe can be done differently to improve the current narrative?
Well, I mean, social media, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, seriously, I always say that, like, you can wish it was a certain way or you can adapt to the way it is.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And you can also control the narrative to a degree, I guess.
To a degree, you can. I mean, look, I'm not going to get in my car and pack the trunk with cassettes and go and sell them door to door. I mean, that worked 20, 25 years ago, you know what I mean? However long ago. But you really, again, it's about adapting. I mean,
Okay.
social media is here, and it's not a horrible thing. I mean, everything gets abused, in some form or fashion. But I mean, but you have to kind of like, okay, what do I do for a living? What am I doing? What am I trying to accomplish? And with social media, how can I use this to my advantage? And as far as controlling the narrative, I mean, look, I can do what I can do, and in a sense, I can control what people say about me. I mean, people can say whatever they want, but I'll know the truth.
Yes.
So it's like people can say what they want to say about Eliot Sloan, about Blessed Union of Souls. I know what I've done. I know what I'm trying to do, and I know what my intentions are.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I can control that narrative to a point. People are still going to say and do it. Yeah, but look, we haven't had any like bad press. Nobody's out there bad mouthing me or anything like that.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, you can control your thoughts, your actions. And look, it's not always an easy thing to do.
No.
But, it's like with anything, with practice, you can get better at it. That's what I like about that word, practice. Like a physician has an ongoing practice because he's still learning. A lawyer has a law practice because he's still learning. Nobody knows everything and go, yes, I know everything about everything. You still continue to practice as far as being an artist, being a recording a songwriter, being a person. I fail every day, but I try to fail less every day. You know what I mean? I sin every day, but I try to sin less every day. So that's the only narrative that I can control as far as me is concerned. And hopefully that'll have a positive effect, like with our music. I mean, hopefully that will have a positive effect on the world and who we can get to listen to the music and hear the lyrics. And, that's what I can do as far as my talent. And that's not the only thing I can do, but that's one of the things I can do that has been fortunate enough to reach the world, on a global scale. So I want to continue to do that, controlling that narrative as much as I possibly can with the lyrics that we write, the songs that we sing, the character that I'm continually trying to have. And, again, it's not just fans. I got kids. And your kids watch you. They imitate you. They you can't say one thing and do another. And so it's like the narrative again. The only narrative I can control is what starts in my heart and what starts in my mind.
Absolutely. So that leads me to the next question: is what have some of your biggest career highlights been? And I'm sure you have many.
No, I do that, and I've been blessed to have a lot of them. But the one that stands out the most to me was on my birthday, July 21st, 1995, and it was the year our album came out. Our first album, Home, came out, and I believe was rising up the charts. And we had been touring with the Rembrandts. They had that big song from the Friends soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I'll be there.
I know it's right.
But they had, Danny and Phil, they had a bunch of other hits as well. So I'm not trying to pigeonhole. They were not a one-hit wonder. They had 7 hit songs. But anyway, we had been touring with them, and we were the opening act. But when we got to Cincinnati, they knew we were from Cincinnati. We'd become friends, and they let us headline that show, which I thought was really nice. You know what I mean? They were just like, look, you guys are at home. Our record was going up the charts. You guys headlined tonight, and that was really great. But the thing about it, it was on my birthday, And we walk out on stage, and by the time we went out on stage, night had fallen. And I had no idea how many people were out there. And I walked out there to the microphone, and I'd never seen anything like this. It was about 30 to 35,000 people out there.
Wow.
On my birthday in Cincinnati, where I'm from, and there had been probably, I guess, 30 to 50 people about 8 or 9, maybe 10 rows back, right in front of the stage, and they were holding up this huge sign, and it said, "Happy birthday, Eliot."
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Oh,
Amazing.
That blew me away right there.
I'm sure. Wow, what an amazing experience.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And right in our hometown, and that I well up every time I tell that story because it was so vivid.
Yeah.
I see it right there. And then like the next day, we're driving up, we had a show in Buffalo. We're driving up to Buffalo. The whole band, we're in this van and we're listening to the Casey Kasem Top 100 Countdown. And we all got to listen to our song get announced as the #1 song in the country. I mean, that was a great week.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
That was a great couple of days right there, man. And, you know, again, of all the highlights that we've had playing around the world, and that's the one that stands out to me the most.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what do you believe makes your leadership style different within your band and your musical genre?
Well, I mean, you know, all the other bands that I'd been in, like I became the lead singer of a band completely by accident.
Yeah.
That first band that I was in, I had no stage experience. I had no intention of going up on that front mic at all. And none. I was perfectly happy being back there behind my 2 keyboards. I used to wear a brim hat, and I had my microphone. I just did my part, and that was it. And I'm glad things started off like that, because you know, if I would have just jumped up to the front of the mic, that would have been way too much pressure. I got to watch a really good lead singer for the first 3 years of my career, who ended up being the drummer for Blessed Union of Souls. He was a great drummer as well.
Wow.
So I got to watch him from where I was, and like, man, you're a braver man than I am going out there in front of those people. And you know, you got great, you know, sometimes you got great audiences and sometimes you have bad audiences. But anyway, slowly but surely, the next band I was in, I was singing a couple of songs up front and then a little bit more. And when we did the demos for Blessed Union of Souls, well, I was singing them. So I had to go up there. Yeah. So I always consider myself a really good second in command, you know. But I would look, being in a band, I love it because you're just doing your part. What do you do? I'm the singer. What do you do? I'm the guitar player. What do you do? So, you know, my leadership is really, you know, bringing in all of the opinions of everybody else that I trust that's on that stage. You know, I don't sit around and, you know, say, you do this, you do this, you do this. You know, I've always been on stage with guys and girls. I've been in a band with a female once in my life, and she was really good as well. But, you know, we're all up there, so we all see the same thing. You know what I mean? So, and there's even a lot of times in the current band, like we'll be playing and you kind of feel the audience around, and we've got a set list, and it may not seem like we should go into that next song or that next part of the set. And, you know, my bass player would be like, go straight to so-and-so. You know what I mean? Because he just feels it. You know, he just knows. Like, boom, you know, let's skip these. Let's go right to this. I'm like, cool. You know what I mean? I don't try to pull any type of authority like, you know, I'm the lead singer. I make these calls. No, we're all experienced musicians, and we know, like, collectively what's the next best thing to do for the show. So, you know, my leadership is a shared leadership with the guys that I trust in the band.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. So that leads me to the technology aspect, as obviously technology is evolving and increasing at a rapid pace. So how has the band had to adapt? Are there things in terms of technology that you've had to adapt to, or has it been pretty much the same, or have you had to evolve?
Again, it's all relative. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Every era of time is all relative. You know, when cassettes came out, it was like, oh wow, cassettes, we got cassettes. You know what I mean? We don't have to, you know, listen to an 8-track tape and let the whole thing play around until, you know, our song comes back on. And then with CDs or whatever. Same with musical equipment. Same with, you know, with all that. It's like, okay, now we can do this. So you just kind of adapt. I mean, again, everything in life is just adaptation. It really is. I mean, I just don't think that people can move forward if we just stay stuck with what we like and what we're used to. We can't be afraid to use what I think is the most advanced piece of technology ever created, and that's our human brain.
Yeah, I mean, very much so.
We don't give our brain enough credit.
No.
We can adapt. Is it going to be a learning curve? Is it going to be difficult? Yeah. So what? So what? You can't be afraid of what's hard. You know, when people don't want to get into things and do things in their life because they say, oh, it's too hard. I'm like, oh, stop talking. Please.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, come on. Just not get. I mean, we were born equipped with everything we need. And everything is gonna be a challenge. But you know this, and I know this, and a lot of people know this, that when you go after that challenge, after something that is hard, it's difficult, there's mountains, there's valleys, but when you come out on the other side of that, I mean, don't you feel so much better? You know what I mean?
No, because knowing that you actually went and you did it and you gave it everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
It gave you the power to do the next thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It gave you the power. And then, okay, I did that. Now here's this other thing. Okay, is it hard? Yes, it is hard. But I'm going to work at it. I'm going to work at it, and I'm going to get better at it. That's the thing people forget, that we can get better. We can get better. We don't reach this part in our minds and in our hearts that we've reached the epitome of where God is. You know, God is all knowing. You know what I mean? You can't teach him anything.
No,
and
exactly.
I'm not going to get too far on that because I don't know where everybody stands, but I know where I stand with that in my mind. You know, he is the supreme being, but human beings, we're constantly learning. And you have to, look, go after it. It's fun to constantly learn. Go after that thing that's hard. I used to always say that, do the hard thing. I tell my kids all the time, do the work first. Get the work done first. Do it.
100%.
Yes, because you're going to feel so much better when you get done and you're ready for the next challenge, because I guarantee you the next challenge is going to come. You know what I mean? And getting through them and adapting to the technology. You know, again, look, the guys in my band before, when people started recording on computers with Pro Tools and Digital Performer, I had three 8-track Tascam and Sony machines. I thought that was it. I've got 24 tracks of tape. Don't tell me anything else. I have reached the epitome of technology. And then computers came out. Man, it took me a year and a half.
Yeah.
For somebody finally to convince me to buy a computer and work with Pro Tools and to work with Digital Performer and to work with plugins. And I was angry about it because I had to learn something else. I was like, it can't be any better than this. Once I finally got the grasp of what I was doing and recording digitally, I put those 3 machines on eBay so fast.
Amazing.
I was just like, here, take them, $20. Here's a pack of gum to go with it, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's another example of accepting the challenge. Like they were like, Eliot, come on, man, you got to get a computer. You got to get Digital Performer. I was just like, oh. All
I
right.
think it's just the pain of knowing that you have to go through the pain, which is just not fun.
Yeah, it's not. It's not fun. I'm not gonna sit here and say, the pain of knowing that you have to go through the pain. That's a great quote.
Yeah.
But once you finally face it and go through it, and look, again, I told you I wasn't gonna get too spiritual, but there's a story. Everybody's heard the story about David and Goliath.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the interesting story within that story.
Mm.
David, when he was fighting Goliath, he didn't sit back and wait for Goliath to come to him.
Mm.
He went to Goliath. He went towards the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He went, you know what I mean? And I didn't even, I've read that story 1,000 times, but it was like a few years ago when I finally, like, a pastor mentioned that. I was like, wow. And so I incorporate that in life. When there's a challenge, don't wait for the challenge to just come over you until you have to do it. Go towards the fight. Go towards your Goliath.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? go towards it. You know what I mean? And that's very inspiring to me.
Yeah, no, 100%. So that leads me to, obviously, management in the music industry is a contentious issue these days, or maybe it's been for a long period of time. How have you managed the relationships within the band for so many years? And do you have any magic formulas you could share with us?
Magic formulas.
I don't know if magic is the right word, but
Don't be a knucklehead. Seriously. I mean, no real magic formula. I don't know. Again, if you just love what you're doing and you're with people that love, that love it, I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that happen on their own. Obviously, within the dynamic of songwriters and singers and guitar players and bass. I mean, there's going to be a lot of that. But there's going to be a lot of that because we're all going for that. You know what I mean? And that's okay in the sense. In the sense that we're all still going for the same thing. If you run into somebody that's trying to sabotage things, then they just have to go, including myself. If I became such an albatross in a situation that I wasn't helping, that, they're all in the boat and they're paddling forward and I'm paddling the other way, then I've got to go, or that person's got to go. And that's happened before. It's like, you've got to go. You are disruptive to what we're trying to do. So being on the same page with the people around you, trusting the people around you, there is so many unspoken bonds of love and camaraderie within that whole spectrum. So, I go off on tangents. I can't even remember what the question was.
No, that's okay.
but seriously, I'm just so passionate about coming together, people coming together and being
collaborative as well.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful thing to watch it all happen and to watch that happen with this band when we were first starting out. I mean, it was literally like living a dream. I mean, I could not wait to wake up and go to the studio and be around the guys in the band, because you knew you were going to be around guys that were, going for the same thing that you were going for. I've never been in the military, but I've heard so many stories about, how those guys are there and they got each other's back.
Yeah, and that's so important, especially in this industry.
Right. And their situation is life and death. In our situation, it was like, we want this so bad. We want it really, really bad. And we got each other's back. Oh man, such a beautiful, again, I don't even remember what the question was, but I hope I answered it.
No, you did. Thank you. So what are the 3 key pieces of advice you would give to other people wishing to venture into the music industry?
One of the most important things that I think, and that I wanted, and that we strived for. Somebody asked me this the other day. They asked me what were the thing I was most proud of with this band is the fact that we wrote our own songs.
Yes.
So one of the things I think is vital for a lengthy career is for an artist or a band to have their own sound.
Yeah.
It's great if you have a big hit. I mean, I don't condemn anybody for having a big hit, and that's great. But I just think for longevity, to have your own sound. Who is that sound? When you hear U2, you know it's U2.
100%.
When you hear the Rolling Stones, you know it's Mick and Keith and Charlie and Bill. You know it's the Stones. When you heard Zeppelin, when you heard Springsteen, when you heard Prince, when you heard Tom Petty, when you heard Queen, you can go down the list because they had their own sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Foreigner, they had their own sound. Marvin Gaye, Luther Vandross, they had their own sound.
Yeah.
And that is, to me, that's key for longevity.
Yeah.
For longevity, you know what I mean?
100%.
And I thank God in heaven that I was born when I was born. And because it seems just like now, it just seems like labels are just, they just want that hit. Just give me that.
Exactly. And there's no real, it's not really coming from a place of authenticity.
That's right. It's like building a tree and setting it in a park as opposed to growing a tree and letting the tree grow and blossom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's to me, that's the first major piece of advice I have to an artist. Get your own sound. Yeah, it's important to write good songs, but you're not gonna write that great song possibly that first time. I believe wasn't the first song that I wrote. That was the 1500th song that I wrote. You know what I mean? You had to write a whole lot of bad songs so that you know what good songs, you gotta have something to compare it to. And again, it's the whole thing with the challenge. You just get better and better. The next song I'm gonna do this, and the next song I'm gonna do that, next song, you know what I mean? Then you finally get to that point that you can write something that, okay, I know what I'm looking for, or I feel in my heart what's good and what's not good, you know what I mean? But doing that enough times, and once you get to that point where you can, like when Blessed Union, when we first got, we had some good songs. And then we had this producer that came in from New York. His name was Emoja. He helped shape what our sound was like.
Yeah, which is so important.
Oh my goodness. And once I saw that, I was like, oh, okay. I get it now. And that's why on that first album, we wrote and recorded like 32 songs. We could have been writing for the next 4 or 5 years, but we just kept writing and writing and writing and writing and writing. And because we knew what our sound was. We knew what our sound was. We got it. So anyway, I'm spending a lot of time on that point. I wrote something down. Oh yeah. Another thing. Another piece of advice, and this kind of goes back to what we're talking about. If you think the record business is too hard, then get out.
Yeah.
Because
you have to be real with yourself, and that's respect for sure.
You gotta be real with yourself. But my point is, like, it wasn't hard for me. It was hard, but it wasn't hard for me and the guys I was with because we wanted it so bad. You know what I mean? It is hard. Is the record business? Yes, it is hard. So is the social media business. So is the construction business.
Yeah, everything is hard. There's no easy road.
Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. So when I deal with artists and singers who talk about, man, I want to be a singer, but it's so hard, I already know I'm not going to spend too much time with them. Yeah. I'm not gonna, don't call me and tell me you want to come to my house and record some demos, but you think your record business is too hard that you're not going to give it your all. I'm not going to let you waste my time.
No.
You know what I mean? I want to deal with people who are like, I am going to do this or I'm going to die trying.
Yeah.
And because I know that's how I was. Looking at the bands that I've been in and the people that I've been around, I have a firsthand knowledge of what passion looks like.
Yes.
So I can recognize.
And you also have to surround yourself with those types of people, because otherwise
Yes.
you surrounding yourself with people that aren't, in the same headspace, it can be very emotionally draining, and then make it negative environment or toxic environment for yourself.
Right? And you probably had to deal with the same thing. You know what I mean?
All the time.
I could ask you the same question. I'm sure you probably had to trim a lot of fat in your world. Like, oh, no. Because when people see that you're really, really super serious, they're either with you or they're intimidated by you.
Yeah. Or they just don't have the mental bandwidth to understand your vision. And that's when you have to kind of start to chop people out, because it's not that they make them bad people, it's just they're not your people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We can go to dinner and we can go have drinks, but we just can't.
Yeah, but we ain't doing business together.
So you know that. And the third thing is, and this is, I mean, all these things I'm saying are equally as important.
Yeah.
But the third thing is this: if you're a singer and you're in a band, you have to have some people around you that you trust, that know
100%.
what you're talking about. You can't do a crappy demo, play it for your girlfriend, and she goes, "Oh, this is great." No, it's not. It's not great. It sucks. Okay.
So you need people to be honest with you, 100%.
Right. You need to ask people who know what they're talking about, who are gonna tell you the truth. And even if it's not their words that they're telling you, you can tell. You can ask somebody what they think about something, and you can guess. You can see by their reaction.
100%.
My wife is great, man.
When they say it looks lovely or it sounds lovely, but their face is like, ooh.
Right. My wife is great like that. I don't even have to ask her what she thinks. I just put on a song that I just wrote or whatever, and I just play it, and we'll listen to it, and I'll just kind of drive, Yeah. I won't go, what do you think? What do you think? I don't have to ask her that.
No.
I look over at her. If she's texting, then it's not
then you
good.
know. Then you know.
But if I look at her and she's got a smile on her face, that's really good. I can trust her opinion. My manager, Mark, when he would record a song, you knew that it was good.
Yeah.
We had people in our camp that would be like, yes, this is good. We're going to record it. That's how you know it's good. If it didn't get recorded, it just wasn't that good. Not that it was horrible, but it just wasn't as good as some of the other stuff. So you can't play all your songs for your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your mom, your dad.
Your auntie, your uncle, your grandmother.
Yeah. Don't stop playing them stuff.
Not unless they're brutally honest themselves.
Right. You gotta surround yourself with people who are going to tell you the truth. It will save a lot of time.
Yeah.
And you won't look back 10 or 11 years and go, man, I wonder why all those great songs that you said I wrote, I wonder why I don't have a record deal. I wonder why I can't get anybody to hear it, because they weren't good.
No.
So yeah, 100%. You got to surround yourself with some truthful people.
So that leads me to the final question, and then I just want to touch a bit on the new songs for Christmas. But what legacy would you like to leave? And when people want to contact you or make contact, what are the best platforms to do so?
Yeah, you know what? Again, when I got in this business, I didn't think about a legacy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just, let's write some songs, let's get a record deal, let's go on the road. So, but
what would you like to be remembered for?
Oh yeah, but since all that has happened, I look back at the body of work that we have completed, and I'm so proud of it. I mean, again, look, Blessed Union of Souls is Blessed Union of Souls. We've never been as big as Rolling Stones, YouTube, and that's fine. But the core fans that we've had, and the people that have been affected by our music, as far as my legacy is I'm gonna just say twofold right now. As an artist and as a songwriter, recording artist, musician, I would love for people to look back and hear our music and go, man, those guys wrote some songs that really had a positive effect on this world. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It really had a positive effect on this world, in a small way and a big way, depending on the individual. That's one of the things I'm most proud of. As a person, I kind of want the same thing. You know, look, I've got 1,000 faults that I know about and another 100,000 that I don't know about. But at the end of the day, I would like people to say, you know what, this guy, he believed in God. He tried to put love first in every situation.
Yeah.
And I have failed. Trust me, and I will fail after we get off of this conversation in somewhere.
But you've also won in some instances, so you can't talk about just the failures.
Yeah, right. I mean, you know, it's like getting past the failures. But, you know, when someone goes to somebody's funeral and say they were a good person or whatever, I mean, you can tell the impact of somebody's life, you know, by the people around them, by their kids. And, you know, I want to be known for someone who was on the side of good.
Yeah, of course.
I want, you know, part of the solution, not part of the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We got enough problems, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So just to highlight your Christmas songs that you've just launched, if you want to just touch on that and how people can connect with you.
Yes. You know what? For years, people have been saying, you guys should do a Christmas album. You guys should do a Christmas album. And I never wanted to do a Christmas album for the sake of doing a Christmas album.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. They had to be songs that truly came from, you know, my heart and the heart of those I wrote with, obviously Shay Watson and Bill DeLuigi.
Yeah.
And I think we did that. We did. Christmas weather, Christmas time is here, All My Love, This Christmas. I mean, those were songs like, okay, yeah, I can sink my teeth into these. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm really proud of them. I played them for my wife. She loves them. So I know
amazing.
And yeah, you can, you know, find them on, actually, we just got the Spotify link.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Just got the Spotify link, and, you know, anything that we do is going to be under Blessed Union of Souls. I always tell people, don't forget to spell blessed with an I.
Yeah.
Even after 25 years, people still misspell our name and my name. But I know I'm really proud of these Christmas songs. And especially like this year, I mean, we need some cheer in 2020.
Oh, for sure. Because it's been a roller coaster.
Oh, goodness gracious. We need some cheer this year. I mean, we need cheer every year, but
yeah, but specifically this year, I think.
Yeah. And I'm just hoping these songs just, you know, help brighten people's holiday, help brighten people's day, people's lives. I hope they sing along to them. I hope it gets heard massively around the world. And yeah, again, really proud of them, really proud to have sung them and co-written them with Bill and Shay, and really proud that you're working to help spread the cheer for us.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So what are the best platforms for people to connect with you if they want to connect via Instagram or LinkedIn? Like, what are the best platforms?
Well, we have our band page on Facebook, which is Facebook / Blessed Union. We also have 2 Instagram accounts. I don't know why. Probably because I didn't know how to set up the first one. But one is Blessed Union, one is Official Blessed Union of Souls. And on Twitter, it's Blessed Band.
Okay.
And yeah, so we're not hard to find. Our website is blessedunionofsouls.com or .net. They link to the same web. So we're not hard to find. And in addition, what they'll find on our Blessed Union of Souls website is a vinyl album that we just that we're taking pre-orders for. So that's going to be coming out as well at the beginning of the year. We're taking pre-orders now. It's a limited edition vinyl record. It's got all these different color vinyls that we're putting up. So they can go to our website and pre-order that as well. So for a year that we've been shut down, we've been really busy. We shot 2 videos that are going to come out at the beginning of the year as well.
Amazing.
So, yeah. So
well, maybe it's also help people to focus and have less distractions about what's going on outside and be able to focus. during this pandemic.
Yes, yes, exactly. I mean, this has been a rough year for, a lot of people. Obviously, a lot of the people that have not survived this virus, a lot of people who have gotten sick. I was shut down with the virus for a couple of weeks. I'm still kind of shut down. I'm waiting for my new test result to come back because I feel great.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so look, again, this isn't the first time in history that, things have been shut down, but we as a human race, we just have to come together and continue to just keep love first. We have to continue to keep love first, respect for others, and that's just where I am where I am in my heart, in my mind. And I want our music, Christmas music, Blessed Union soul songs. That's what I want our music to portray and get across to the people around the world.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Eliot, for joining us today. And hopefully we can have you back in the future to see where your journey's taken you. And just hope you have an amazing festive season.
Thank you so much. And you the same. To everybody watching out there, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.